It was a crisp autumn evening in 1975, the kind where the evening mist curled up from the gutters, leaving the streets of Leeds eerily quiet. Helen, a 25-year-old secretary, walked briskly down the cobbled streets of Chapeltown, her heels clicking on the pavement. It was her usual route home, and the dim street lights cast long shadows that seemed to stretch across the quiet road. She pulled her coat tighter around her, feeling the familiar chill on her neck. Though it was only 7 p.m., the city already felt darker, more oppressive. The leaves swirled around her feet, their rustling the only sound breaking the silence. She hadn't noticed the man following her, his footsteps soft but steady, until he was too close. Her heart raced as she quickened her pace, glancing over her shoulder. He was there, a shadow in the mist. Helen's breath quickened as she pushed forward, her mind racing. Was it just a coincidence, or was he following her? Panic surged in her chest, making it hard to breathe. She thought about turning the corner into a busier street, but the man was too close. She could see the glint of a blade in his hand, his face obscured by the darkness. Without warning, he lunged, grabbing her from behind. The world blurred as the knife cut through the air, and Helen screamed. Her body went limp, collapsing onto the cold ground. Blood seeped out of her, staining the cobblestones beneath her. But before the killer could vanish into the night, something unexpected happened. A car drove by, its headlights briefly illuminating the scene. The man froze, looking back as the car's taillights disappeared into the distance. The brief distraction was enough. He turned and fled into the darkness, leaving Helen's lifeless body behind. The news of the attack spread quickly through Leeds. A young woman had been killed in the heart of the city, and the police were already on edge. Detective Inspector James Brown was assigned to the case. He had been with the force for over 15 years, but he had never dealt with something like this. The brutality of the attack left him uneasy, especially given the rise in similar cases across the northern regions. Helen's murder was the fourth in a series of attacks on women in Yorkshire, and there were whispers in the police station. Could this be the work of a serial killer? Inspector Brown pored over the case files, his mind racing. The killer was smart, always vanishing without a trace, leaving no witnesses or evidence behind. Weeks passed, and the fear in northern England grew. More women were attacked, each victim more brutally savaged than the last. The killer, now dubbed the Yorkshire Ripper, seemed to be playing a twisted game with the police. Every time they got close to identifying him, he slipped away, leaving only terror and bloodshed in his wake. In a surprising twist, a new lead emerged. A witness came forward with a description of a man seen leaving the scene of one of the attacks. He was tall, with dark hair and a weathered face. The police had a new suspect. But just as they were about to arrest the man, a shocking revelation came to light. A local woman who had been attacked but survived came forward with an unexpected twist. She claimed that she had recognized the killer's voice. It was someone she knew. It was someone close to her, someone she had trusted. The investigation took a dark turn as the police re-examined the evidence. They discovered that the suspect was not who they had originally thought. The true identity of the Yorkshire Ripper was someone from the very heart of the community, a respected man, a father, and a husband. His name was Peter Sutcliffe, a truck driver who had been living a double life. When the police confronted Sutcliffe, he confessed to the murders. His voice trembled as he spoke, but his eyes remained cold. He claimed that the killings were an act of vengeance, an expression of his hatred for women. He spoke of his frustration, of the rage that built up inside him every time he saw a woman on the street. The revelation rocked the community to its core. A man they had all trusted had been living among them, hiding in plain sight. Fear turned to disgust, and the town was left to pick up the pieces of a shattered reality. The Yorkshire Ripper's reign of terror had come to an end, but the scars he left on the community were deep. The streets of Leeds, once full of life and laughter, now felt haunted, as if the very air had been poisoned by fear. As Inspector Brown stood outside the courthouse, watching the press swarm around Sutcliffe, he couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. There would always be other killers, other monsters lurking in the shadows, and the fear would never completely fade. The investigation had ended, but for those who lived through it, the fear remained. And though justice had been served, the emotional toll of the murders would linger for generations to come. Like and subscribe for more. The Yorkshire Ripper, Fear in Northern England, is a story of suspense, twists, and emotional depth. It's a dark reminder of how fear can consume a community, leaving behind a legacy of pain that never truly fades.